A few minutes later, I once again entered Dokja University Station and ate a ground rat. It was in order to heal the skin contaminated by the poisonous fog. It took a little time, but the contamination could be recovered by eating the meat of the underground species.
Hey, are you crazy? What did you do just now?
I was eating when I heard Bi-hyung's voice furiously berate me. Shut up.
No, this isn't an issue you can dismiss. You destroyed a constellation's idol. Do you want to see my channel fail?
Once the bald general of justice begins to talk. The idol of constellation. Every world had their own constellations. South Korea as well. By the way, Bi-hyung said it was the bald general of justice. He was a great person in South Korea, but... Actually, I wasn't the type of person to say that. A constellation wearing a straw mat is furious at your atrocious actions. The constellation prison of the golden headband is laughing. There was a difference in the degree of all idols, but they had the power of a constellation sealed in them. If I released the seal of an idol in the right way, I could gain a certain amount of power, such as an item or a skill that the constellation used in their lifetime. However, unlocking the seal took a long time, and I wasn't sure if I get the skill I wanted. I looked at ways of survival on my smartphone.
But if it's sealed in the bronze statue of Samyodon, how'd you get the skill?
There's a saying, if you meet Buddha, kill Buddha.
What? Don't tell me.
I'm just trying it out. But it is true. All the statues aren't just for worship.
Hey, this jerk. You better watch your mouth. You might be cursed by the constellation.
At the last gateway to enter Chungmodo, the skill of Samyeondong was essential, and the surefire way to get the skill was to destroy the idol. Of course, I could buy something similar from the Dokja bag, but the more coins I saved, the better. Did you resolve your man secret? I quickly turned off my smartphone screen. My companions, including Jung Heewon, had gathered. Yes, and I have something for you. I pulled out the items I gained from the idol. As luck would have it, the Samyeondong idol contained the items and skills. Samyeondong's beads. Samyeondong's straw mat. Rags and old beads. There were questions in the eyes of everyone present. I knew what they were thinking. However, I also knew this. In this world, old was more likely to be good. They seem like good items because they're the souvenirs of a great person. Great person? Dear Samyeondong? A constellation wearing a straw mat has paused your actions. Jung Heewon asked with a blank expression. Who's that? A constellation wearing a straw mat wishes to appear before character Jung Heewon.
Oh, I know.
Fortunately, someone knew. Needless to say, it was Yu Sang-ah.
I remember seeing it when I was studying Korean history. Isn't he a monk from the Joseon dynasty?
Yes, that's right.
When the Korean military was struggling to defend against the Japanese invasion, he fought in the Nongwon-pyeong battle and the Wookwan-dong battle.
As expected of Yu Sang-ah. I also studied Korean history, but I didn't know it. A constellation wearing a straw mat is touched by the character Yu Sang-ah. I nodded and said, anyways, these items have his strength.
Really? Wow, it's real.
Jung Heewon and Lee Hyung-sung were surprised when they confirmed the item information. Still, how did Dokja know how to get this? I put my hands together in front of the Samyeondong statue and they fell from the sky. Huh? No way. I thought it was ridiculous, but there was a reason people said such ridiculous words. I put on a mock, solemn expression as I watched the party. I think it was sent by Samyeondong for South Korea. Huh. Their ahs were filled with many meanings. I ignored them and kept talking. It wasn't like I was asking for them to listen. He might have left his belongings to save the country, just like the Japanese invasion of Korea. Anyway, now South Korea is a country undergoing turmoil. A constellation wearing a straw mat is moved by your words. In times of turmoil, scammers always gain power. In this strange world, it isn't weird if something like this happens. Maybe Samyeondong is one of those constellations, isn't that right? Surprisingly, Yu Sang-ah was the first to be convinced. Maybe she didn't want me to be embarrassed. The funny thing was that once Yu Sang-ah agreed, Lee Hyung-sung was immediately convinced. Indeed, Samyeondong. Lee Hyung-sung grew up with patriotism for a long time, and it looked like he was reminiscing on the principle of military service. Lee Gil-young also seemed convinced. It was only Jung Heewon who was staring at me like it was nonsense. A constellation wearing a straw mat likes your revealing words. The constellation Bald General of Justice forgives your sins. Bi-hyung looked at the sky with a, "Is this okay?" expression before looking dumbfounded. The power of a constellation was directly linked to their fame, thus the constellations loved it when their stories were spread this way. Where was a constellation that hated being praised? I'll give Samyeondong's beads to Yu Sang-ah since you know him well.
Really? Can I accept it?
I think Samyeondong will be delighted if Yu Sang-ah uses it. In fact, the performance of the Samyeondong beads weren't good compared to what the sponsor used it for. It wasn't a sponsor's star relic, so maybe with the fact that Samyeondong wasn't a world-recognized figure had an effect. It was still a B-class item, so it had a secondary option of boosting magic power to increase magic power recovery. Jung Heewon watched Yu Sang-ah like she was envious and said, Yu Sang-ah knows a lot of things. I didn't know about Samyeondong because I didn't do very well at school. I'm joking. Don't make such an expression. I spoke to the sulky Jung Heewon. I also have something with Jung Heewon-shi. For me? Is it the straw hat? Yes. It's okay, no matter how urgent, I don't want to wear such a thing. Just try it. You won't regret it. Jung Heewon hesitated for a moment before throwing on the straw mat. She was trying to be fashionable, but she just looked like a beggar. A constellation who likes comradeship condemns your actions. A constellation who praises friendship likes your actions. It would be different if the star relic Samyukdong's bamboo stick and straw sandals came out, but the other two items weren't necessary for me right now. Jung Heewon saw her reflection on the screen door of the subway and made a slightly complicated expression. It's hard to explain, but I feel like it's suddenly like I could harness the power of justice. Samyukdong's straw mat was an item that enhanced the justice and willpower of the wearer. I didn't need it, but it was a pretty good item for Jung Heewon. You said Samyukdong? I feel sorry for some reason. I should study harder. The constellation Bald General of Justice is happy at this situation. 100 coins have been sponsored. I jokingly said, "Now let's put our hands together and pray." It was a joke, but Jung Heewon really went to pray. Jung Heewon was contaminated by the poisonous fog and spoke while eating a brown rat. By the way, who broke it? Surely it wasn't Dokja. Dokja? Be prepared, we'll soon be at the Chungmuro station. I looked at the dark tunnel. It had been over 20 minutes since Lee Gil-young used diverse communication, allowing us to safely move forward. Considering the fact that Dokja University to Chungmuro was a 1 kilometer in a straight line, it was time for that to appear. A new sub-scenario has arrived. Indeed, as soon as I thought about it. Everybody, step back. Sub-scenario, welcome prison. Category, sub. Difficulty, D to F. Clear conditions. Escape from the welcome prison within the time limit. Time limit, 1 hour. Compensation, 300 coins. Failure, unknown. Sub-scenario, welcome to the prison has begun. Perhaps Yu Jung had suffered quite a bit in this scenario. This scenario is one of the most painful traps for a regressor. Yu Sung asked, "Welcome prison? What is this?" She would know without asking. It's coming, everybody. Keep your mind straight. Before my words were over, a haze overcame me. The fog that instantly occupied the tunnel blocked my field of vision. The party members in the immediate vicinity couldn't be seen. When I looked around, all I could see was a distorted scenery as if I was on drugs. I feel bad. Jung Heewon screamed. Maybe Jung Heewon was seeing something different from what I saw. Dokja. A voice I didn't want to hear. That forgotten voice was heard in a drug-like landscape. If I was this way, my other party members would be worse. Something feels strange. Dokja, are you there? Dokja! Dokja! In this distorted vision, the voices of my party members were gradually fading. Welcome, prison. A space that led to madness by touching a person's trauma. Dokja, you didn't see anything, understood? The landscape disappeared and the face of the person popped up. I smiled bitterly as I stared into the air. I wanted to deny reality. The exclusive skill, Fourth Wall, is activated. Due to the skill effect, immunity to welcome present has occurred. The moment my mind relaxed, the uncomfortable feeling diminished. The constellation, a secretive plotter, admires your spirit. 100 coins have been sponsored. The curious constellations are sorry that they can't peek at your memories. As the power of welcome prison weakened, I felt a sense of alarm. Everyone calm down and take deep breaths. Those trapped in welcome prison would lose their minds and unleash their madness around them. Thus the most dangerous thing in welcome prison was the companions around you. Yu Jung-hyuk's solo behavior might be because he was worried about this prison. Soldier Lee Hyung-sung, did you hear wrong? I was wrong, Mom! This dog bastard! I was too late. I heard the screams of people filled with madness, but it wasn't everybody. Dokja? At this moment, Yu Sung-a's appearance was revealed in welcome prison. Samyukdong's beads around her wrists were glowing brightly. Fortunately, it worked. I approached Yu Sung-a and said, "Cover the surroundings. From now on, I'll destroy this place." Yu Sung-a nodded with a nervous expression. The exclusive skill, Destroy Evil Level 1, is activated. Destroy Evil. It was 1 level higher than Repel Evil skill that could be bought with coins. It was a skill that I obtained after breaking the bronze statue of Samyukdong. The exclusive skill, Destroy Evil Level 1, has turned off Welcome Prison. Indeed, it was a skill used by Samyukdong. If I bought the Repel Evil, it would have taken a minute to release it. As the fog retreated and Welcome Prison disappeared, my companions started to appear one by one. Our resolve! We are the South Korean Army, loyal to the nation and the people! Mom? The trauma could be seen with one glance. Lee Hyung-sung was bowing with his head on the ground, while Lee Gil-young had his head on his knees and was shaking. Yu Sung-a came forward first. Lee Hyung-sung-shi, Gil-young, please wake up! At this moment, a blade flew from the rear. Fortunately, the blade wasn't fast and it wasn't difficult to avoid. I'll kill all of you. Jung Heewon was waving her sword through the air like a madman. My heart ached as I watched Jung Heewon's eyes become gradually redder. This was dangerous. It was a sign of demon slaying. I stung Jung Heewon by strongly hitting her in the back of the neck. Luckily, Jung Heewon was unharmed. I thought it wouldn't be like this with Samyukdong's straw mat, but Jung Heewon's mental state was more fragile than I expected. Yu-sanga, please look after Jung Heewon-shi.
Yes.
It isn't over yet. You have met the conditions to clear the sub-scenario. You have earned 300 coins. Monsters appeared as soon as the clear message showed up. They were a massive liquid, reminiscent of ectoplasm. The 8th grade specter. It was the specters who made the welcome prison. I used white, pure star energy to invoke Blade of Faith. Fortunately, the battle itself wasn't difficult. In the first place, the specters weren't difficult if welcome prison was destroyed. The weird and creepy specters were destroyed. Spectre Stone. I put the fallen stones into my pocket. This needed to be picked up. Thanks to Yu-sanga, the other was recovering quickly.
Are you okay?
The one who recovered the fastest was Lee Hyung-sung. Lee Hyung-sung heard the story and bowed his head with surprise. Thank you. I was almost in big trouble. I also want to thank Dokja. It's nothing.
I have a headache.
Lee Gil-young's head was pounding. I stroked Lee Gil-young's hair. He pretended to be okay, but perhaps the one with the most terrible trauma in this place was this child. I saw a pale light in the distance. Yu-sanga said, Dokja, I think it's over. I worried about it for a short moment. Jung Heewon was stunned, and it was difficult for the others to exercise their power. Would it be okay if we entered Cheongmuro at this rate? My concerns were resolved by another person. A blade loomed in the darkness. It was purely a threat, without the intent to harm.
Who are you? Don't you know this area is our hunting ground?
In the faint light of the entrance, a girl holding a longsword stood. She looked to be about 17 and was wearing a school uniform. She was wearing a hood like she was trying to hide her name tag, but her appearance was noticeable.
Huh, this girl.
Yu-sanga had keen eyes and recognized her first. I also knew her. It was because she was one of the main characters of Ways of Survival. The only survivor at Dupung Girls High School, Lee Ji-hye. She was one of the reasons why Yu Jung-ok went straight to Cheongmuro in the shortest time.
Did you guys beat the specters?
Lee Ji-hye had discovered the stone in my hand and was surprised.
How did you... Only Master could catch them.
I immediately used the skill. The exclusive skill character list is activated. Character information. Lee Ji-hye. Age, 17 years old. Constellation sponsor, Maritime War God. Private attribute, Scarred Sword Demon, Rare. Exclusive skills, Sword Training level 3. Demon Slaying level 1. Absolute Sense level 2. Ghost Walk level 1. Stigma. Sea Battle level 1. Large Army Command level 1. Overall stats, Physique level 13. Strength level 12. Agility level 12. Magic Power level 9. Overall evaluation, a person who evolved into a Scarred Sword Demon after killing her closest friend. The sponsor behind her has an affinity for you and your colleagues. Starter pack is currently applied. There was nothing unusual. Maritime War God, as scheduled. It was the sponsor behind Lee Ji-hye. She was a must in future maritime wars. The constellation Ball General of Justice is touched at the meeting of an old comrade. Lee Ji-hye's sponsor welcomes the Ball General of Justice. I felt a faint breeze in the subway tunnel where no trains were running. Looking at Lee Ji-hye's hair fluttering in the wind, I realized again. Main Scenario number 2, meeting has ended. The compensation will be settled. Yes, we had finally arrived. This was Cheongmuro.